Life and death, success and failure, let fate decide. With these words, he turned around calmly, descended the stairs, and gradually disappeared from Medusa's sight. As she watched his receding figure, the indifference on Medusa's face slowly dissipated. She lightly clenched her slender hand, revealing a trace of struggle in her brows. After a moment, the struggle turned into a sigh filled with complex emotions, echoing softly in the pavilion. In a grand hall within the imperial city. Grandpa Tai, the imperial family's elite army of 100,000 has been arranged not far from Yunlan Mountain. Once the battle begins tomorrow, they will seal off the entire mountain. In addition to Grandpa Tai and the 2 king-level powerhouses, we also have 3 king-level experts nurtured by our imperial family. These are the main forces we can muster. In the dim light, Yao Yi furrowed her eyebrows slightly and whispered to Jia Xingtian. Jia Xingtian nodded slightly. At this moment, even this experienced elder appeared somewhat anxious. They had placed a huge bet this time, and the slightest mistake could implicate the entire imperial family. How much chance of success do you think we have? After a moment, Jia Xingtian finally spoke in a low-voiced Grandpa Tai, don't worry too much. Our alliance's strength is not weaker than that of Yunlan sect. And Mr. Xiao Yan's teacher is also a Dozone-level powerhouse. This battle is bound to be our victory. Yao Yi smiled, but her smile revealed a hint of forced composure, betraying her inner unease. Sigh, let's hope so. This time, I've staked the entire imperial family on it. Jia Xingtian sighed and spoke slowly, at the Mitre family, Hai Lao. The elite forces of our family have all gathered. We only await your order tomorrow to join forces with the other factions and engage in a life and death battle with Yunlan sect. In the hall, Ye Fei smiled at the old man standing with his hands behind his back. Hearing Ye Fei's voice, Hai Bodong turned around and smiled, nodding slightly. He couldn't help feeling somewhat nervous at this critical moment. They had wagered too much this time. And the slightest mistake could spell doom for their family. Everything is ready. Now, let's see whose side fate is on in this battle. Hai Bodong sighed deeply. Ye Fei nodded silently. This battle would determine the life and death of the 2 major powers. If one side were to lose, it would be plunged into an abyss from which there was no return. This kind of outcome was not child's play. Her gaze swept outside the window, looking toward the direction of the Xiao family. A faint smile appeared on Ye Fei's face, and she had an inexplicable confidence in that young man. At the same time, at the Alchemist Guild, the Mu family, the Nailin family, and tonight, many people couldn't sleep. When the first rays of dawn broke through the clouds and shone on the vast imperial city, the empty streets gradually filled with people. In the Xiao family, Xiao Yan, who was sitting cross-legged on his bed, suddenly opened his eyes, his body trembling, and he mysteriously disappeared in the front yard of the Xiao family. At this moment, over 100 black-robed figures stood silently, exuding a strong aura of blood. The atmosphere was so oppressive that even the faint-hearted felt a chill just by looking at it. Before these black-robed figures, Lin Yan, Zi Yan, and Yin Bone Old Man and other powerful experts stood quietly, enveloped in an unusual aura, shrouding the courtyard. Is everyone ready? The quiet atmosphere was suddenly broken by a smiling voice, and a black-robed figure suddenly appeared on the steps. Smiling at the people below, boom, more than 100 black-robed figures knelt down in unison, without uttering a word, but their imposing manner was not weak at all. Seeing this, Xiao Yan smiled with satisfaction. His jet-black eyes gradually brimmed with fiery determination. Today was the time to decide life and death. The war spirit surged in his chest, and a green flame emerged behind Xiao Yan. With a slight tremor, his figure levitated, and he suddenly raised his head and let out a clear roar. The thunderous roar echoed endlessly in the sky above the entire city, drawing the attention of countless people. Not long after Xiao Yan's roar, several roars suddenly rang out from different locations in the imperial city, and these roars were also wrapped in majestic do qi. Resounding in every corner of the city, Yunlan sect, Xiao Yan of the Xiao family has come to collect the debt. Today, Yunlan sect was a sea of joy, with bright red decorations adorning the massive mountain peaks like lanterns. The wedding of the sect master Yun Yun was of utmost importance to the entire Yunlan sect. Yun Yun was marrying Gu Yi, who held a high position in Yunlan sect. Therefore, this wedding was destined to be the most lively day for the Yunlan sect in many years. Under the festive atmosphere, many people unconsciously forgot about the troubles outside. In the eyes of some, given Yunlan sect's current strength in the Gamma Empire, even if all the forces in the imperial city united, they still posed no significant threat to this large section. This confidence was because the Yunlan sect possessed the only Dozone-level powerhouse in the Gamma Empire, Yun Shan. The sounds of joy echoed throughout Yunlan Mountain since early morning. As the rising sun ascended into the sky, the jubilation only grew stronger. In a grand hall of Yunlan sect, only 2 people were seated. The one sitting in the main seat was naturally Yun Shan, who had a great reputation in the Yunlan sect. And the one sitting below was the protagonist of today's wedding, Gu Yi. Hehe, Gu Yi, after today, you will become a member of my Yunlan sect. If I, this old fellow, am not around in the future, I'm afraid Yunlan sect will have to rely on you. Hearing the festive sounds from outside, Yun Shan smiled at Gu Yi. Upon hearing this, Gu Ha quickly waved his hand and smiled, Master, you are now a powerful Dozone, in the prime of your life. Don't speak of such ominous words. Yun Shan smiled and lightly tapped the table with his withered fingers. He glanced outside and said with a faint smile, if I'm not mistaken, Xiao Yan and his people will attack Yunlan's sect today. That boy has been lusting after Yun. For a long time. Before, he deceived her with sweet words and led her to some reckless actions. Now, upon hearing about the arranged marriage, he'll surely be infuriated and come to disrupt it. With a glimmer of sharpness in his eyes, Yunshan continued, I won't let anyone ruin my wedding with Yun. With your status as a pill king in the Gamma Empire, if the wedding were to be disrupted, it would indeed be a huge embarrassment. Yunshan said with an encouraging tone, Master, after today's wedding goes smoothly, please release the seal in Yun's body. I will take her out and let her understand your true intentions. Guha smiled and then turned serious, I won't let anyone ruin my wedding with Yun. Yunshan nodded, naturally, that girl was cultivated by me. It's uncomfortable for me to keep her sealed like this. Guha thanked him, thank you for understanding. Master. Today is a busy day, so I won't linger, Yunshan assured him, don't worry, I've made arrangements for today's wedding. As long as Xiao Yan dares to show up, I will use his life as a celebration for your wedding. After Guha left, the hall suddenly closed its doors, and a strange black mist floated out from the darkness. A weird laughter echoed from within the mist, I didn't expect you to marry Yun. Just to win over Guha, Yunshan laughed, if my guess is correct. Xiao Yan and his group will attack Yunlan's sect today. That kid has always been lusting after Yun. Before, he deceived her with sweet words and led her to some reckless actions. Now, upon hearing about the arranged marriage, he'll surely be infuriated and come to disrupt it, I don't mind. But don't kill Guha. He possesses a strong soul force and maybe an excellent soul body. The voice in the black mist chuckled, Yunshan frowned slightly. Guha, as a 6th grade alchemist, was of great benefit to Yunlan's sect. What's the matter? Are you unhappy? Yunshan, the soul hall has taken you from the brink of death to your current dozone strength. Everything you have now is given by the soul hall. If the soul hall is unhappy one day, we can take it all back. The sinister laughter echoed from the black mist, Yunshan's face twitched, but he quickly composed himself and said with a forced smile, Guardian 1. You're right. I will never forget the great kindness of the soul hall. I won't let anyone ruin the wedding, and after it's done, I will collect his soul as you wish. That's better. Yunshan, the soul hall has turned you into what you are now, and we can also make you lose everything. Everything you have now is bestowed upon you by the soul hall. If one day we are displeased, we can take it all back. Yunshan's expression changed slightly, and he laughed dryly, Guardian 1. You're right. The soul hall has been very generous to me, and I will never forget that. Since the soul hall is interested in Guha, I'll take his soul after everything is done, in that case, I'll be looking forward to a good show today. I hope you won't disappoint me. The black mist fluctuated for a moment and then gradually dissipated from the hall. As Yunshan watched the black mist disappear, his face twitched, and a hint of ruthlessness flashed in his lowered eyes. But it quickly faded away. As the sun reached its zenith, the festive atmosphere in Yunlan's sect reached its peak. Countless cheers echoed, reaching the heavens in the vast square, adorned with red decorations. Yunlan's sect disciples in red robes flooded the area like a sea of scarlet. They filled the eyes with vibrant colors. At the center of the square stood a grand wedding platform, already fully set up. On the platform, Yunshan sat at the highest position, wearing a smile as he chatted with the surrounding guests who came to celebrate. With Guha's reputation in the Gamma Empire, the news of his upcoming wedding naturally attracted many strong guests to congratulate him. Under the wedding platform, Guha, wearing a bright red robe, also had a smile on his face as he bowed and thanked the guests who came to offer their congratulations. The bride is here. As the sun reached its peak, a crisp voice finally broke through the bustling noise on the square. Suddenly, the voices lowered, and countless gazes turned to where the voice came from. There, a girl dressed in a red wedding dress, her face covered by a red veil, was surrounded by dozens of beautiful maidservants, making her look like the center of the universe as she slowly walked towards the wedding platform in the middle of the square. As the main protagonist appeared on the square today, the laughter became even more abundant. Countless people congratulated Guhi, feeling envious that he could marry such an outstanding woman, even if she was Guhi himself. However, amidst the congratulations, no one saw the bride walking slowly with the help of the maids. Her steps seemed slightly stiff, like a puppet. Guhi smiled and thanked the guests who came to congratulate him one by one, then walked towards the bride. He tried to see her expression behind the red curtain, but it was hidden from his view. Taking the red ribbon handed to him by a maid, Guhi and the bride proceeded to the center of the square, in front of the wedding platform, while Yunshan, with a smile on his face, addressed the crowd. Today, my beloved disciple is getting married, and I want to thank all of you who have come from afar to celebrate with Cloud Mist sect. Yunshan's voice rang out from the wedding platform, and a wave of congratulatory voices followed. Yun will be my successor as the sect master of Cloud Mist sect. Her status is naturally high, and Guhi's identity and status are also worthy. So, it's indeed a perfect match, Yunshan said with a smiling face. Guhi smiled and responded to the congratulations around him. Occasionally, he glanced at the bride, who remained silent and expressionless behind the red curtain. His smile would involuntarily fade, and his eyes would show a hint of gloom. Today, I, in front of the powerful of the Gamma Empire, announce that I will marry my beloved disciple Yun to Guhi. Yunshan's voice carried a hint of mockery as he looked down at Ge, who seemed a little off color as Yunshan's laughter rang out. Whispers erupted on the square. People were talking about the infamous figure from the Xiao family who was hunted down by Cloud Mist sect in the past and had now returned. Not only had his strength increased significantly, but he also brought back many powerful followers. If the rumors are true that he single-handedly annihilated the Mytel family members sent by Cloud Mist sect, then this guy is really terrifying, and today, Cloud Mist sect seems to be in big trouble. Don't be so sure. Cloud Mist sect has Yunshan, a formidable expert. If they really clash, I doubt Xiao Yan and his group will have a high chance of winning. Among the discussions, Xiao Yan's ears caught some of the comments. He smiled. And his eyes turned cold as he directed his gaze towards Yunshan. Yunshan, you old dog. You destroyed my Xiao family. Such a blood feud cannot be washed away unless I take your life. As the sect master of Cloud Mist sect for many years, Yunshan had never been called an old dog by anyone in front of so many people, except for Xiao Yan. Therefore, even though he had a gloomy temperament, his face couldn't help but look displeased with an unpleasant expression. Yunshan's gaze swept over the group of people in the sky and settled on figures like Jia Xingtian and Fa Ma. After a while, he sneered, "What? Jia Xingtian, Fa Ma, are you two also standing with this brat who doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth? Yunshan, we know what ambitions Cloud Mist sect has been harboring in recent years. Don't think we don't know. You want us to sit back and wait for our doom? Do you really think it's that easy?" Since they had come to this point, Jia Xingtian no longer needed to fear Yunshan, so his words were full of mockery. Very well. Upon hearing Jia Xingtian's words, Yunshan burst into laughter. I never expected that you were just a young lad whom I chased out of the empire years ago, yet you have such audacity now. Good, since you've come, there's no need to leave today. As Yunshan's laughter echoed, the massive Yunlan mountain suddenly reverberated with howling sounds. A brilliant light surged, and a formidable aura emerged from within the section. Soon, numerous figures shot up into the sky, revealing the presence of the elders of Yunlan sect who were already prepared for battle. Seeing these elders appear, the crowd in the square grew restless, as it seemed an inevitable major battle was about to unfold. Under the wedding platform, Gehua's expression turned unpleasant upon the arrival of Xiao Yan and the others, particularly when he noticed the girl beside him. Her entire body shrouded in a red dress, trembling. An unnamed rage surged from within him. Why? Why do you always care so much about this lad, Xiao Yan? Today is my joyful day. You come to Yunlan sect to cause trouble, aren't you too presumptuous? After taking a deep breath, Gehua raised his head and shouted sternly as Xiao Yan glanced at Gehua indifferently, but his gaze couldn't help but stop at the girl beside him. Her cheeks hidden behind the red curtain. Her enchanting figure seemed somewhat familiar, causing his long-suppressed heart to tremble involuntarily. Yunlan sect destroyed my Xiao family. Is that not presumptuous enough? Yunlan sect forcibly wiped out the Meter family, isn't that presumptuous? Since Yunlan sect dares to be presumptuous, why wouldn't I, Xiao Yan, dare? I have an irreconcilable life and death feud with Yunlan sect. I'm here today to settle this debt. Xiao Yan's voice turned cold as he fixed his icy gaze on Gehua, a faint sneer in his tone. Seeking revenge is just a pretext. You've come to ruin the wedding, haven't you? Gehua retorted with a sarcastic smile. A wedding where the bride is a manipulated puppet, what meaning does it have? Xiao Yan smirked, and with a flick of his finger, a strand of emerald green flame shot down like lightning, reaching the bride wrapped in the red dress in an instant. As the flames were about to hit her, a faint black light suddenly emanated from within her, colliding with the green flame with a muffled bang. A strong gust of wind dispersed, causing the bride to take 2 hurried steps back. Yun. Seeing the bride retreat, Gehua became anxious and was about to reach out to her, but a slightly trembling and chilly voice came from beneath the red curtain. I'm fine. Witnessing the bride finally speak after her appearance, the crowd exchanged puzzled glances. Sensing something amiss from the situation, under the watchful gazes of everyone, a pair of fair hands emerged from the sleeves and pulled away the red curtain. A beautiful face as fair as snow revealed itself to the onlookers. It was none other than Yun. As the red curtain was pulled away, Yun's eyes remained slightly lowered, her gaze shifting, never once looking at the sky. But as she lowered her head, the familiar voice from the sky, which she couldn't forget, resounded once again with a cold sneer. Yunshan, you've resorted to such despicable methods to win over powerful individuals. Truly a kind teacher you were. Back then, I let you escape by luck, but this time, once I capture you, I will pull each of your teeth out one by one. Upon hearing Xiao Yan's mocking words, Yunshan's face twitched, his eyes flashing with a vicious glint. However, his tone soon returned to indifference. Master, this matter is closely related to me. Please hand him over to me. Gehua said with a gloomy expression. Oh? At his words, Yunshan raised an eyebrow, stroking his beard as if contemplating. Gehua, combat isn't your strong suit. There's no need for you to clash with him. Once I capture this lad, I'll hand him over to you. Gehua shook his head, his gaze flickering toward Yun, who had suddenly clenched her delicate hands. After taking a deep breath, he said, I want her to know that only I am worthy of her. Seeing Gehua's determination, Yunshan's brow slightly furrowed, but he finally nodded, seemingly reluctantly agreeing to the request.